Hey guys, hope you're well. This is update number 3. It's been 3 months since the last post, so I know it was a while. And I've had a few messages from people saying, what's happened to your tinnitus? What's the level? What's the sound? Is it gone? Is it there? What are you doing, right? And there was a specific reason I haven't posted in 3 months is because I just didn't feel like it. I'm honoring my feelings, I'm honoring my wants and doing what I want to do. And I didn't want to post, so I didn't. But now I feel like is the right time. So there's a lot to cover, but effectively there's people probably want to know, do you still have tinnitus? What does it sound like? Has it gone up? Has it gone down? What's made it better? What's made it worse, right? So the answer is yes, I still have tinnitus. I'm still wearing the noise generators. So I still have it. Has it got worse? Some days. Is it better? Some days. It's the same, more of the same, I would say. More of the same. What am I doing about it? In my last video, I came to the conclusion I don't want to do anything about it. I just need to stay physically prepared. I think I used the phrase general physical preparedness. I got that principle from Ross Edgley. He's into sort of the health, well-being, fitness realm. And the principle was keeping your body prepared and ready and creating an environment in the body which is conducive to recovery, right? What does that mean, I guess? What's the evidence behind it? Because I suppose you got two schools of thought. You got the school of thought which is there's no evidence, it's not been trialed, not been really tested, so for tinnitus specifically. So what I mean when I say all of this is, for those of you who might not know, is obviously there's a program out there for various different, there's lots of stuff for tinnitus online. I came across one particular person, Liam, who advocated a certain, taking on gradually, not all at once, but potentially taking hold and implementing a few lifestyle changes for a period of time which we just don't know, to be able to eradicate tinnitus forever. And that meant obviously things like fasting, intermittent fasting, or prolonged fasting over as you build up to that, a carnivore diet, but not mandatory, but it helps, supplements, exercise, sleep, what else, grounding, tension release from the body, etc. Blue light blockers, etc. There's quite a few different things you just sort of stack up, I guess, and then all of that over time gets rid of tinnitus. Now, I was excited at first, and I jumped into it with both feet, and there was a lot of correlations between what he was saying and what the general well-being, holistic health society talks about. I listened to podcast by Stephen Bartlett, and I'll put a link to that on the in the below show notes if you like. And there's a few special guests he had. He's quite a sort of a big entrepreneur in the UK and abroad, I suppose, and he has a podcast where he invites healthcare professionals onto it, and they talk about different things like sleep, obesity, sugar, etc. And then the concluding overriding thoughts of some of these podcasts aligns quite closely to all the things Liam says. So I was a bit like, okay, this kind of makes sense. And then I was seeing a lady who is in the sort of Chinese or Oriental therapy for wellness. And some of what she shared with me kind of also supported what he was saying. So back when I was sort of 3-4 months ago in that space, I was full guns blazing. I was just like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And I saw actually some good results. And the reason why I stopped was because I felt like it got quite overwhelming, and I didn't forecast that, even though people did say, look, don't take it up too quickly. I took it up too quickly because that's what you're going to do. You're going to get excited. If someone says I can silence your tinnitus, you're going to be like, all right, what do I need to do? Tell me what. And they say it's proven, it's done before, all these testimonials. It's kind of hard not to go all guns blazing. So I went all guns blazing, and then by video 2, I concluded actually rather than me doing the chasing, I'm going to let the tinnitus chase the silence or whatever it is chase me, right? All I need to do is reframe. I think it was effectively a reframing of the circumstance. So I wanted to keep myself physically ready in the hope that the tinnitus no longer wants to reside in my body, or the whatever it is that's triggering it is no longer there, so it all disappears. And I think I basically got stressed out by the whole thing. To put it short, I got stressed out by all of it. Caused me a lot of tension and added stress, which is probably not great, because potentially stress is what brought it on, or one of the things that brought it on. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Well, that's the sort of summary of over the last sort of journey, I guess. But before going on to what's going on in my space now and who am I seeing and what am I doing and all that kind of stuff, I just want to fill you in on a few bits over the last 3 months, what has happened since that second video. So after that second video, I decided I'm going to give fasting a real go, because again, I was sort of researching that quite a lot about why fasting, and of all the different levers that we have, like nutrition, movement, fasting and sleep. Fasting and sleep seem to be two of the biggest needle moving things out there, what you can physically do with your body to help it heal. So I thought, right, I'll give fasting a go. So I gradually built this practice up, really. So I was practicing eating 1 meal a day. And I did that for like a number of weeks, and I felt fairly comfortable fasting sort of 15, 16 hours, having 1 meal and that be it. And then I thought, let me try 24 hours. So I only wanted to do a 24-hour fast. That was my original intention. Fasted for 24 hours and I felt absolutely fine. In fact, I didn't even feel hungry whatsoever, and I felt a massive surge of energy. So I thought, let me just go a day and a half, and I'll break my fast in a day and a half. Just, the more hours, the better. I just was like, this is what's gonna work. And then I got to a day and a half. I thought, well, I'm not even hungry anymore. Let me just go 2 days, and I'll break it after 2 days. And I felt like so energetic, so much energy. Sleep was not that great, but my energy was super high and I felt just light. I still had the tinnitus. In fact, the tinnitus was spiking quite a lot, which was quite difficult. But I was just like, I'm so invested in this fast. I'm 2 days in. Let me just make it to this 3-day fast people talk about. And I'll add another link below to the lady who I followed, which talks about the 72-hour fast protocol and all the benefits it can bring. So I'm not saying it gets rid of tinnitus, because it clearly didn't for me, but there could be other indirect benefits from it. But obviously research it, and I'll put the link to that below. Let me just make a note. So I did 3 days. I fasted for 3 full days. And again, like I lost like 4 kilos in 3 days, 4 kilos of weight. Most of it was water, granted. But wow, it was incredible. And I've had moments where I felt on a super low calorie diet or plan. I've had similar feelings of like realizations and just lightness and focus and sharpness and energy, etc. But the tinnitus was still there. So it was a bit of a weird situation where my energy was sky high, but my mood would be low when the tinnitus was spiking. And I would be constantly looking out for like, oh, is it gone yet? Is it gone yet? Is 3 days fast going to shift it out my body? Going to the toilet and thinking, has something happened where it's all going to go? Or has my blood changing? Or like, what? I wonder what amazing stuff is happening inside. And potentially there was. Like, I have no evidence to prove it. I don't know other than my feedback. And I felt lighter in myself. Sleep was rubbish, really shit actually. But somehow it wasn't a problem because I just had a major abundance of energy. So it was an interesting thing to even carry out. It was pure accident to go 3 days, but I just thought, fuck it, I'm just gonna lean into it, and I did it. And I broke the fast in line with the protocols advised by this lady, and I'll put that down because it's apparently as equally important as it is to do a fast, it's equally important to learn how to break your fast so that you don't destroy the stomach and cause trauma by putting solid food after 3 days. And there's like a gradual process. So I followed that process and I was okay. Like I didn't feel like sick, or I didn't crash all of a sudden. It was just like a nice, like smooth sort of continuation, I suppose, of that feeling. Because I was mindful of what I was eating. I wasn't eating like crazy amounts of food after. I wasn't craving much food. In fact, I lost craving for like all sweet food, processed food, junk food, all that crap basically. But that didn't last too long. That lasted like a week and a half. And then slowly, from that moment, I pivoted away from this whole protocol of going like pretty much keto, to just doing what I wanted to do. Because I felt like I went from following that Liam's advice to doing a 3-day fast, and the combination of those two, when I still had the tinnitus, I felt like what more am I supposed to do? This is really taking, and it was kind of my fault. I sort of jumped in with both feet, as I said. So I decided, you know what, this is stressing me out. Like I still feel paranoid. Why have I got this? I've just done a 72-hour fast. Like what more am I supposed to do? And I felt like it didn't work. And it's a bit of a shame because I wish I went with the mindset of I just want to do this for my body, but secretly I was doing it for my tinnitus. I wanted to get rid of it. But when it didn't, I was a bit like I don't know how long I have to keep doing this for, putting effort in. It didn't feel effortless. It felt like a lot of effort. The mind aspect of it anyway, the why I was doing it felt very heavy. And I thought I can't keep on carrying this regimented routine because I'm vegetarian. I'm not about to go carnivore, and to be keto and vegetarian is possible, but it's challenging, and maybe I wasn't ready for that challenge. So I parked the whole thing. I was like, forget it. I'm just going to eat what I want, do what I want, have as many meals in the day as I want. And interestingly enough, I noticed it didn't impact my tinnitus at all. I was eating like quote unquote junk food, and I didn't notice a difference. I was eating sugar, and sugar actually, interestingly, is the one thing where I feel like there is a correlation between the spikes and sugar. Carbs and fruit and vegetables and all that other stuff like sweets, maybe not sweets because that's sugar. I don't really eat sweets, but chocolates, I guess. But yeah, anything else, salt and stuff, I didn't see a correlation between that and the spike in tinnitus. I was just of the mindset, I want to enjoy my food. I want to enjoy my life. I don't want to sacrifice everything for tinnitus. I don't want tinnitus to be spread across my whole life and sort of everything what I do is because of like I don't want that to be the narrative in my head, because I had a feeling this would slowly start to destroy me if I let it. So I stopped. And so yeah, I mean, so I had the fast, and after the fast, I was obviously just continuing with life, and I had a few stressful circumstances at work combined with not sleeping that great, and those two just cycled, and I got to a pretty low point where I was just like, I physically can't continue like this. Like this is not right. This is medically, physically, emotionally not right. There's only so much I can cover up and push through. And I thought, doesn't feel right to push through anymore. I can't push through my own health. Like it's ridiculous. So I just took the decision to take time off work. I saw all the variables in my life. I took time off work. I've been off for 2 months now, so I'm still off work. And the doctor just signed me off. He's like, listen, you could have been signed off or should have been signed off months ago. You know, you've had some sleep challenges and you've had some anxiety and some stress and tinnitus in your life. And you've just tried to cope with it as well as cope with everything else, like as if it's on the side. And I'm not saying put it in the middle because you've got to do something specific with it, but I think taking on certain lifestyle changes and then taking on work and then taking on everything just got too much. And I thought I was very self-aware, but you don't realize you're in a situation until sometimes it feels like it's too late. But the reality is it's never too late, because you can make a change in any instant. But I found myself at a super low point, very emotional, just very snappy, and I was like, nah, this is not right. And I obviously low on energy and mood and everything. It was just off. So I decided to take time off sick from work, stop any work, stop that variable. And I didn't have a plan. I don't have a plan. I don't really have a plan of what I'm gonna do, or what I wanted to do. I simply just said, all I know is work is pretty much triggering me quite a lot, and I'm quite a resilient person, and I've built up a lot of experience to manage stuff. But even I was like, nah, this is not right. If I am the leader I say I am, I need to take lead and feel like I am. I need to make this decision with that in mind, because if I'm looking after projects, people who are going under the same scenario, what would I be advising them? I can't be a hypocrite in this situation. So take the lesson, take time off, and seek some proper help. Because I was sort of thinking to myself, tinnitus has probably been in my space now for like 8 months. And in terms of when you go online, there's a lot of advice out there, a lot of information out there, what you can do, right? So there's like I call it the two worlds. There's the holistic therapy, and then there's like official, tried and tested therapy. So when tinnitus came up, my natural gut instinct was to go for the holistic therapy and stay away from anything which was like National Health Service, official medical advice. And I went straight to the holistic world. And that's probably because my inner belief is the body can heal itself, don't need to do anything to heal it. So anyone who talks like that, advocates that, I go there first, which is where I sort of put the lifestyle changes in place with Liam and all this kind of stuff, and the mindful work. But I felt like when I did that, it was like going in a tumble dryer, and I came out still wet. And I was like, oh, okay. What's the official advice saying? What's the official advice saying now? I like, forget the holistic route. They meant well, they mean well, there's nothing wrong, there's nothing right. It may work for some, I don't know. But I just had a feeling I need to see the tried and tested advice, because trying something holistic, in the holistic world, like acupuncture. So I did acupuncture, for example, right? One thing I sort of realized is like, there's no guarantees. Even with the scientific medical route, there's no guarantees of will it work, will it not. No one can say, I will do this and it will remove your symptom. Like, there's no one who will do that. And in this holistic therapy mode, you're only really as good as the money you pay. No one will see you if you don't pay them. And there's no end to it. So if you see a therapist who is empathetic and towards you and your situation, you would hope that they tell you, listen, stop spending money with me because this is not going to work. But there's very few people like that. Most people will just say, have faith, keep coming, keep doing this. But how long? If you're following stuff and you're doing things, you're changing your life because you're changing your food and all this stuff, and you do these like whatever, any therapies that you want to put in, and it's not making a difference, then, and you're paying so much. And these are not cheap. These therapies and stuff are not cheap. Like, I suppose that's with any illness out there, and any person who's sort of willing to help. They value themselves, which is why they put a price on their help, and that makes a lot of sense. But I can't help but feel like the phrase like preying on the vulnerable kind of comes to mind. And I know that that's not their intention, but that's how it feels. When you're at your most vulnerable, you need to pay. It's like a rule. When you're like your most down, you need to pay a lot of money to come back. It's like, why? And I found that really irritating, and I found that very stressful as well. So I just, as I said, I stopped that holistic route, because one, there was no clear strategy, clarity, or assurance it was going to work, and 2, the cost of it, and 3, actually, the stress it caused me with not knowing any of the previous 2. So I decided, let me go down the medical route. And I was asking myself, well, medically, the number 1 proven treatment for tinnitus is CBT. And it's not something I wanted to hear, actually, because I wanted for it to be something I can physically do, tangibly do. And it seemed underwhelming. It seems and seemed underwhelming. I was like, can't be. It can't be. Like, I know, sometimes it's almost difficult to accept that stress or anxiety or whatever brought it on, because I keep asking myself, was I that stressed that I brought it on? Was I that anxious that I brought it on? Have I been that anxious before and it's not come? Has other people experienced more levels of anxiety and stress and they've just not had it? So why? Can't be. Why me? I keep asking that question, which is probably not ideal, but it's a natural question. I allow myself to ask it. I feel what I feel. I'm done with judging myself for having a certain thought, feeling a certain way, because it's perfectly normal and natural, I feel like, so why not? But yeah, CBT. So I was a bit like, well, I've spent a lot of time, 8 months and money, doing other stuff, but not actually done any CBT with anyone trained in this for tinnitus. And if that is what people are saying is the number 1 tried, tested, proven support method, then why haven't I tried this? Like, why didn't I go there? Let me go there. Like, now, if I need to go there now, I need to do this now. So I got in touch with Harley Street Hearing to start some CBT sessions. I've just had one this morning, which was good. I'll go into that a little bit later. But yeah, there's an app called Otto, and I'll actually link it again below. Let me make another note. An app called Otto, and I heard about this app when I went to a local tinnitus support group. So tinnitus UK, I believe it is. Again, I'll put that in the notes below as well. They have a local area meetup once a quarter. Let me put that in the notes as well, actually. And I met up with a group of people in my area, actually really close to my house, the meetup was, and such nice people. It was the first time I'd been in a room full of people with tinnitus. Like, that's like, I felt excited by that. Just to feel not alone for once. I don't know about you guys, but how lonely does it feel to have tinnitus and not really have anyone to talk about it who understands what you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you're going through, what's going on in your mind, what's going on in your body. You feel like you're like an alien, and no one, you try to speak to your wife, your family, your partner, your work, your whatever, to give them a glimpse of what it's like, but really they're not really interested. And even if they are interested, they'll never understand it, because you can't, no amount of words can do justice to what it is that you experience. And I suppose that could be like for anything. It's not specific to tinnitus, right? But sometimes it's such a unique thing, let's say, which is what makes it even more lonely, because it's something which people can't really comprehend unless you've got it. And again, I don't know about everyone here, but the world of self-help and personal development, right? Now when I look at people who do mental health support, first aid and meditation, mindfulness, spirituality, coaching, all this stuff. And when I hear someone give advice and what to do, right? I don't know about you guys, but I keep saying to myself, would you be saying that if you've had tinnitus? Does that still stand if you experience tinnitus? I wonder how you would cope if you had tinnitus. And there's a bit of a sadistic part of that. I get it, right? Because it's almost like hating a bit. But I'm not hating on anyone. All I'm saying is, actually, there's a positive to come out of this. It's almost like, and I think I said it in my previous video, we are more, people with any chronic condition or stress or whatever, anything which is quite chronic, is a very resilient person, is a very strong person, is a very courageous person, and a very wise person, and someone who actually has something to offer the world and themselves by tolerating and managing and finding joy or normality or whatever, adaptation, flexibility in their situation. Because you can't mimic something that's constant or feels like it's constant. So I think people who have or experience tinnitus have a lot to offer. We are a lot stronger and more powerful than we think, you know. And I just feel like there's a lack of acknowledgement or credit for that. Where was I going with this? Yeah, so CBT. So I'm doing CBT for tinnitus, and first session today was really good. It was with Harley Street Hearing, consultant called Lulu, amazing. And one of the things I said to her was, look, I'm all up for CBT because I want to give it a proper go. Like, I don't want to dismiss it. I don't want to be like, it's not, because what's the point? I'm open. And I'm open because I hear, and I'll come to this, I hear that people do CBT, and there's a lot of examples where people just feel like a lot different, like to the point in some cases where people are like, I can't hear the tinnitus anymore. Unless I think about it and want to listen to it, it doesn't impact me. For me, it's pretty much silent all the time. And actually, there was a chap in my in one of the meetups. He was saying, until I came to this room to talk about tinnitus, I hadn't heard my tinnitus in months. But it's only now that we're talking about it, it comes up. I don't think about it. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't bother me. I haven't. And he's had it for like 20, 30 years. And I was a bit astounded by that. So just being in a room full of people who have tinnitus was so exciting because I didn't feel alone. When people were talking, I was listening and like fully get what they're saying. I didn't feel alone. I think that was the key. I didn't feel alone anymore because I could physically see someone, talk to them who had tinnitus. And some people just were so normal, like I probably am normal, but I don't feel normal. And so I was like, well, if they're normal, then I'm normal too. Like, we're all normal, but we have tinnitus. Like, is that possible? Do you see like the mental framing which needs to go on to be able to move past this symptom, which is where CBT comes in. So that was really helpful. So what I said to the Harley Street Hearing today was, I understand your thoughts impact your feelings, which impacts your behavior, and that can be a vicious cycle. So the more negative things you think about tinnitus, the more attention you pay to it, the more it will grow, the more you think about it, and you get into this vicious cycle which needs to be stopped because there's a way out. Because people who change these automatic negative thoughts go on to not hearing their tinnitus at all. They're not trying to get, and they caveat this by saying, we're not removing tinnitus, we're just not allowing it to manipulate or manage your life. You manage it rather than it manage you. And so I'm okay with that. Because that's like a good step to go in. And I accept that no one may know the real reason for it, and there may not be a cure yet, because I believe there will be one day. But until someone can categorically tell me there's a cure, CBT and making it not part of as evasive in my life, I'm up for that. Previously, I wasn't up for that because I was all or nothing mentality. I either want it all gone or don't talk to me. And I was going through some counseling sessions where that trait has come up quite a lot in me actually. All or nothing mentality. And I don't think it's just me. I think a lot of people have this, especially when it's chronic, something chronic, because you just don't want it. Like, why would you want less of something chronic? It's still there, right? You don't want it at all. It's like, I don't know, if you had if you were driving your car and a bird just shat on your windscreen or pooed on your windscreen. This is such a weird analogy. I don't know how I thought of this, but why would you want like half of it gone? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's still there. You can still see it. You want it all gone. Otherwise, don't remove the half. Like, what's the point? Don't go through all that effort just to remove half. But there's something to be said for it. I think in this case, I mean, obviously the analogy is a bit weird, but I would say if someone could tell me that I wouldn't think about tinnitus during the day at all, and I probably couldn't hear it at all, and that would happen multiple days and days and days, I'd be like, yeah, like that's great. That I'm interested to understand that more. And so CBT is basically pointing at that. So coming back to Harley Street Hearing, I said to them, I'm up for it, but it's like, you're telling me if I do X, Y, and Z, I can have A, B, and C. But you're not showing me A, B, and C. Like, I don't know anyone who's been through it to physically tell me in the flesh it can happen. Like, I've seen let me go back on that statement. There are people like that on Facebook. You look at Otto as an app, and I'll post a video from theirs. They have people who give testimonials about the benefit of CBT and all that kind of stuff. So they are there. But for me, it's like very digital. Like, I can't talk to them. I can't interact with them. I can't ask them any questions. Because people who have tinnitus have lots of questions which we want answering, We ask each other. People message me just by putting these videos up. I've had a lot of people DM me a lot. And I message them back quickly, instantly, because I know how it feels to have an open question unanswered going on for days and weeks. You feel like stuck. So I'm open. So if anyone wants to ask me a question, whatever it is, just drop me a message on here or my Instagram or whatever it is, and I'll come back to you with whatever I know. I'm happy to share it. And I was just like, I think what will work is if you create a community of regular contact where people can talk about what it is that they're going through, but not just shower problems on each other, because that's probably not of benefit to anyone. I mean, there's an indirect benefit of it, but directly not. So talk about their challenges, but also talk about how their solutions and how we can help each other. Maybe create a little community of how we can help each other with our thoughts and with our actions. And, and I don't want these calls to be about there's this magic thing which you can do, or there's magnesium, or there's that's just all anecdotal, right? And no one's an expert. Unless you've got evidence for this stuff, I don't really want to hear all that, because it causes more anxiety and more stress. This is just about what are you challenged with, and how can a small community of people support you with that challenge, or how else could you think about it? Nothing physical we can do, but maybe we can encourage you to think differently about it. And she was like, that's a very good idea. So maybe they might take me up on me hosting weekly sessions. I don't know, but that's the offer actually they put forward to me, and that's the aim. So I have a question for everyone on here, actually. I'm going to put a link, and it'll be the first. I've mentioned many links, but I'll put a link in the description below, which will basically be a questionnaire. And I'm keen to understand if you would like to be part of this weekly tinnitus support group, where it's confidential, it's friendly, I hope. It's a safe environment, and it's a place for people to meet like-minded people, to understand people's challenges and support one another, not to criticize each other or throw a grenade in the middle to be like, I know this, and like to show off or to take the limelight. It's literally like a support group. I don't know about you, but being in a group is all I crave, like a family. Like, as human species, that's all we crave. And a unique tribe, the tinnitus tribe. Maybe that's what we call it, the tinnitus tribe. So if you want to be part of a tinnitus tribe, I am happy to host calls, whether they be weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever it needs to be. then I'd be up for that. Let me know if you would be too, depending on where you live and your circumstances and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to put in a questionnaire. If you want to fill it in and then want to be part of that support group, do let me know, and I'll see your, fill out the form and then we can take it from there. So that's all things CBT. And yeah, I mean, look, I've been off work for the last 2 months. You know, I've been seeking some support and trying to focus on improving my general well-being by having a daily routine of like going to the gym, focusing on my nutrition really. So like, not as much as before. I'm not so like restrictive as before and going on major fasts, but I've tried to limit the amount of sugar again in my diet and processed sugar, because I do feel like that has a part to play with the peaks in tinnitus. So that's something I'm focusing on. Walking, again, I'm focusing on just being active as I can, sauna, steam room, all that stuff. Just trying to relax more, you know. And one of the final things I'll reference before I conclude, because I know I've been going on for 36 minutes now, so only the hardcore tinnitus group I think would have stayed and listened to everything, because I know I do that when I listen to other people's videos. But there's a person called Mike Chang, and I'll tag him also at the bottom of this video. And something that has helped me, and again, it feels like underrated, like it almost feels too easy to be true. It's not helped me with getting rid of tinnitus. Let me start off by saying that. It's helped me with calming my nerves and calming my body by performing a certain practice. So there's 2 practices. One is breath work, and 2 is like tapping. So it's not like tapping, like soft tapping. It's like quite forceful, like tapping your arms, your body, your stomach, your back, your face, your head, your legs. Like there's a sequence. There's a way he does it, twisting your spine. And basically, what this guy basically says is, look, if you have anything chronic or you have a lot of stress or anxiety, and let me put this straight here. It's not that we want to be anxious. It's the situation creates the anxiety, right? And believe it or not, and I didn't want to really believe this, and I didn't like it when people said it to me. I was quite resistant when someone said, you're a very anxious person, you've got high levels. A lot of people have said that to me before. You've got high levels of anxiety. And I was just like, I'm sitting here comfortable, calm, talking to you. How the fuck have you judged that I have high levels of anxiety? Maybe it was in the questions I was asking, I don't know. But basically, I believe if you have tinnitus, the likelihood is you have very high levels of anxiety, not of your choosing, right? Let me get that straight. But it's just there. Because if you look at the automatic and negative thoughts that we probably have, all of us, like I'll give you an example. You know, going from one room where there's sound and noise to another room in the house where you know it's going to be quiet on the other side of that door, you start to feel like that the automatic negative thought is, as you're about to even make the decision to leave one room to the other, and you know where you're going, my automatic negative thought is, I'm going to hear my tinnitus in the next room. Oh my God, it's not going to be silent. Bang, I hear it. And the association is made. The anxiety is there, like it's there, just over entering a room. And then you think about food, you think, I can't eat that because it might impact my tinnitus. Bang, again, another anxious moment. They creep up, they build up until it's basically present in every decision you make, everything you do, every place you go, every person you see, everywhere. And that's how it builds, because tinnitus is not like, you know, if it's persistent for you and you hear it everywhere, it's very difficult to stop hearing it until you do the work. You do the CBT or you do something which works for you to stop thinking that way. But until that point, especially when it's new in the beginning, which is why I really get fucked off with this thing, because I feel like there should just be an automatic process where soon as you get tinnitus, you go to your doctor. Your doctor basically says, right, do not do anything and start CBT straight away. Like straight away. Almost treat it as your leg's gonna fall off if you don't do this now. Like do it now. Because I feel like when someone gets tinnitus for the first time and it's new, you almost do two choices. Ignore it and think, oh, what is this? It's gonna go away, like what I did. Or you start fucking panicking because you're like, what is this? And they're both like, there's nothing wrong in either. But the likelihood is I'm going to be panicking, which is what happened afterwards when I stopped this is going to go away, and it didn't. I was like, what the fuck is this? You start Googling and you start like, oh my God, like you start seeing all the horror stories, but it's too late because those, once you've read it, it's like it's in your head now. And then you start forming the links between that and everything else. And then you slowly go to the doctor and they just like, I don't know. I just feel like the whole profession is not set up. Maybe in the UK, or I don't know, it's just not set up. It's not set up to give people the support they need there and then. I don't think tinnitus is really talked about much properly. It's like if you went with a broken leg, they would be very quick to get you sorted. But if you go with tinnitus, it's like, yeah, you need to see someone. And it's just like, no, like you need to get intervention now, quickly, right? With CBT maybe to start with. So yeah, I really feel like it would be great to have it early because you stop forming these negative thoughts. But when I was speaking to my practitioner today, I mentioned this point around one, you need a community, and two, why is this not brought in very early to save you the time to redo the work, right? She was like, it doesn't matter whether you've had it from the beginning or you're doing it now, it's still possible. So I'm going with it. Like I'm absolutely want to go with it. You know, I believe it can be possible. I believe it can work. I believe it will be better than I plan it to be, right? Why not? Why put a limit on this, on how good it can be? Like maybe it's going to be better than I think. I don't know. I'm gonna try. So yeah, sorry. Coming back to this guy, Mike Chang, saying, you know, the likelihood is you're going to have a lot of anxiety stored in your body. And we do store stuff in our bodies. Like, I was like, no, we don't. You know, why is it stored in my body? Where can you see it? But he said, every time you tense up something, involuntary tensing up of something, and we don't know we're doing it unless you're super aware, just have a think. Next time you're stressed, think about what part of your body is holding tense. That's muscular tension, right? That muscle is going to stay tense for a while until you release it or relax it, I guess. But there's a practice involved in order to do that. So like breath work and tapping. And I'll share the links of some videos which have really helped me. I do it, and the advice I was given was, don't do it when you're feeling anxious. Bake it into your day so that you're preempting an anxious moment with your body being sort of general physical preparedness. You've already prepared your body to be relaxed by, I don't know, in your diary, putting 3 times in the day where you're doing this breath work, which can take 5 or 10 minutes to do. And yeah, I feel like there's something to say for it. I feel like I can see how it calms me down. You know, it's physical movement. You're not trapped in your head. You're doing something physical, easy, and it's just breathing, and it works. It helps. It helps relax. Whether you want to relax to help you sleep, whether it's relax before you work, whether it's relax before you eat, whatever it is that you feel like is an anxious moment for you, do this an hour or two before you know that moment's going to come. I know sleep is a big thing, especially for me. You know, it was a big thing. Still working on it, but yeah, I know that, you know, sleep is an anxious moment. So I'll do it 1 hour before I sleep. I'll start to stretch. I'll start to do all my stretches and breathing and tapping, all sorts of stuff, just to be like, right, you know, I don't want to feel the massive peak in anxiety. I want to feel like my body's like in a better place and much more ready for it. So makes it easier to manage. So that's where we are at, folks. 44 minutes. I've been talking a lot. I'm conscious it's been a long video, but I was keen to fill you in on what's been going on my side over the last 2-3 months. And closing remarks. What would I say? What would I conclude with? So, first thing is, if you want to be part of a tinnitus support community, fill out the link and let me know, the questionnaire, and let me know. I am happy to create it because I feel like it can be a very lonely place, tinnitus, and I don't want that for myself and I don't want that for other people. So I'm going to try to create something from this. So if you want to be part of it, let me know. Second thing I would say is CBT. It seems to be the number one recommended treatment for tinnitus. How many of people listening here have done it? You know, there was people in the room who I met in the support group who had it for years and years and years and never done CBT. And I was a bit like, okay, why is this not just a common done thing? Why is it not done? There's various ways of getting access to it. You can speak to your doctor. There's an app called Otto where there's a link below. There's videos online. There's places which can do it. So why not? But it's expensive. It can be expensive, but it can be had. So I'd say first thing is the link. Second thing, CBT. The third thing I would say is the tapping. I think that's been super useful because it's just non-invasive. There's nothing to it. You don't have to pay anyone to massage your body, to do pressure points, like to do all that stuff which you would have to pay a lot of money for without really knowing if it's getting rid of the tinnitus. I mean, it's basically reducing the stress in the body. I think all these other holistic therapies like acupuncture, all this stuff, it's just trying to get rid of the tension in the body. But the tension's created from the mind. So it's worth using CBT to work on the mind and then do your body release stuff yourself. I kind of see it's probably worth spending the money in that side and then doing the physical stuff yourself, right? That's what I'm going to do anyway. So that's the third thing. Fourth thing, sugar. I think for me, that's a strategy I'm going to employ. Try to reduce and eliminate sugar from my diet because I feel like it might have something to offer. Of all the things, like I don't mind having carbs, I don't mind having bread, I don't mind having cereal, wheat, everything, cold, hot, sweet, sour, sour, but not, the sweet even I don't mind, but not processed sugar, not like chocolates and biscuits. I don't mind having jaggery and anything else which is like naturally sweet. I suppose for me, that's all I know, jaggery. It's unrefined sugar. So that's something which in Asian community we cook a lot with. So I have jaggery to satisfy my sweet tooth. That's what I'm going to do. And the fifth and final thing I will say is, before I say it, let me recap. So tinnitus support group, the tinnitus tribe, CBT, tapping, sugar, and the last thing, it's got to be 5. It has to be 5 things, right? Fifth thing, what would I say? Okay, here it is. Closing remark, yeah, fifth thing. Wherever you are now, whatever stage you're at with your tinnitus, however you're feeling, whatever you're going through, right? Think to yourself, maybe, what if it works out better than you can even imagine? Let me rephrase that, repeat that. What if this works out better than you or we can ever imagine? What if it can? It's like opening a door of possibility. Why keep the door shut? Why can't we just keep it open? Why can't I keep it open? And what if this works out better than I had imagined? Better than I had planned? What if? That's it from me, guys. Take care and speak to you soon.